Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Image Bearers. I'm Lacey Connor, your host. Today, we have a fantastic guest, someone we are just meeting, but her organization, and I can't wait to hear about her story. Everyone, all Image Bearers, welcome Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. But yeah, no, so glad you were here. I'm so excited to hear about your organization. My friend Hannah was one. We were throwing axes, and she was like, I just got
Nice.
done last night. I went to a fundraiser, and I was like, really? She was like, I think you should have this person on the podcast. And I'm always not like super iffy, but I'm like, oh, well, who is this? Because it's not like everyone has good organizations and good stories, but it's also like people loved. It's like setting someone up to date. You know, like you find someone single, and you're like, oh, I have a brother. That's semi how it is sometimes having a podcast, and so I
Yeah.
just get sometimes I
So
get
it's
like,
our first date.
it's like a first date, right? And so I was like, I mean, let me hear. And then she told me about Same as You, and I was like, oh, I love
Mm,
this. I love the idea. I love the community, and just like it's something that needed to be done,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
All right,
Mhm.
Jennifer, tell me about yourself before we get into the school and everything. Who
Absolutely.
is Jennifer?
Who is Jennifer? Well, I am a wife and a mom. Carrie is my husband. We will be celebrating 33 years this August.
All right.
And we have three daughters. The oldest, who lives in Huntsville, Alabama, is making me a grandma this September.
Oh,
So we're super
congratulations.
excited to be first time grandparents. Our middle daughter, Jessica, she was the inspiration behind Same as You. She has Down syndrome. And God knew she needed to be sandwiched between two girls because then I have my daughter Nora, who
Uh-huh.
is a sophomore in college and home this summer. So we're
Ooh.
enjoying time with her. So
Where'd she go to college?
she's at Taylor University.
Okay, so she's
Hmm.
not too far away.
No, the first one went all the way down to Birmingham. So that was an adjustment for us being
Right?
so far away. At least she moved an hour and a half north.
Right.
So she went to Huntsville. And then Nora is just about an hour away from us. So
Right.
we don't see her too often during the year, but it's nice to know we can hop up there and have dinner with her if we want. So,
Right, that is. I
mhm.
remember Taylor has that fantastic ice cream place
Oh,
too.
yeah,
Ivan's?
Ivanhoe's. Ivanhoe's?
Ivanhoe,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm, mhm.
Oh,
Like
so good.
130 some choices on the menu of ice
Yes.
cream, who knew?
I remember that place. That was delicious.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fun.
it is a
Yeah,
good place.
so that's who we are. We live in downtown Noblesville. We have a, cute little dog named Ruby, and, we're just the 3 of us, so Jess is, with us longer than she's 24, so
Uh-huh.
most 24-year-olds would be out of the house, but we call ourselves the 3 amigos because normally during the school year, it's my husband, Jess, and I, so
Uh-huh.
mhm.
Oh my God, that's adorable. I love that. So you were saying your daughter Jessica, right?
Mhm,
She
mhm.
had Down syndrome. Yes.
Yes,
I love
yes.
I I love all people, but like children with Down syndrome or adults with Down syndrome, they're just like I don't know, the Lord just made them like I mean, like all people are light, but like it's just they're so full of light. Do you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like I don't know, it's just like
She's
they
full
are
of
so special.
spice too. So
She
someone will
yes.
say that about people with Down syndrome, and then you talk to the parents and you're like, yite. So Jess is filter free, very we call her our little spice one. When she was young, there's some friends of mine, and we both have people with Down syndrome in our life. We would say the famous drop, flop, and plop because low muscle tone, and
Uh-huh.
you have this toddler and they don't want to do something, and that's what they do. They drop and flop, and so, but
Try
she is a lot of fun, and she's definitely shaped, our family and who we are.
Right, I
Mhm.
bet so, yeah, no, definitely. May I ask, can you I'm trying to think how to phrase this. With finding out that because your first child did not have Down syndrome, was
Right.
I wouldn't say normal, I don't know.
Typical.
Typical,
Mhm,
thank you.
mhm.
Right. When you found out that your child was going to have Down syndrome, I know that can sometimes like I used to work in labor and delivery, and
Yeah.
it is a very hard time.
Yeah, it was very much a surprise. Yes, our first was very, just the pregnancy was uneventful,
Mhm.
everything came along as expected, so that's what you would expect for
Yeah.
the second. And everything was normal, until she had, her kidneys were I don't know, there was some marker pretty early
Yeah.
on, but still nothing. I did not have any concerns. We went back then, a high resolution ultrasound was something new and
Right.
exciting. So we went for that and it was normal. And then we came back for a follow-up appointment, not expecting anything, and they discovered that she had something called duodenal atresia.
Oh, yeah.
So a third of those pregnancies or those babies have Down syndrome, but she didn't have any markers. So your mind, I mean, in my mind, I immediately convinced myself she was in the two-thirds that did not have um, Down syndrome. And then part of having duodenal atresia throughout my pregnancy, you retain all that. You're a former nurse,
I
so
know,
you
so
know
I
all
know
this.
yes.
So that amniotic fluid. So the
Yeah.
amniotic fluid, I didn't know this, but it's normal for some of it to pass through your body as you're
Yeah.
pregnant. And I remember a friend of mine who was pregnant with her second, and we were the same amount of weeks in our pregnancy, and I was huge, and I'm like, what is the problem?
Right.
Well, I was retaining all that amniotic fluid. So twice I had two amnios
Uh-huh.
to help keep her in there longer
Yeah.
because delivering early was one of the risks.
Mhm.
So we had the fluid tested,
Yeah.
and it came back that she had Down syndrome. And honestly, I remember my cousins. Um, I would go spend a week in the summer with my aunt and my cousins, and their next door neighbor was Dale, and
Uh-huh.
Dale had Down syndrome. And this was years ago, and I remember playing basketball in their driveway, and they loved Dale, and I was so young, and I had not been around someone with Down syndrome, and he was like an extension of their family, but I was a little like I didn't
Yeah, you just,
understand or know, and I got to know him somewhat, but I was still little and I was only there in the summer. So, so I remember when they told us that Jess had Down syndrome. We didn't have a name for her at that point. We didn't know she was a girl. But I just like this image of Dale came into my head. I'm like, I'm having a Dale. Oh my
right.
goodness, this was not the plan.
Right.
So, you go through a grieving process of what you expected and what your reality is. Um, and I will say throughout that, it was really hard. There'd be times that my husband would be more, we got this, we can do this. And then there'd be times that he was down and I was up. So we just journeyed
Right.
through that together. But the minute she was born, she had surgery to correct that duodenal atresia. And I was kinda, like, scared, like, are we gonna love her the same? Like,
Right.
what is this gonna be like? And honestly, when she was born, the fear of Down syndrome just went away, and then the focus was on getting through this surgery.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Oh, that's I mean, it's so crazy too that they have to do those surgeries, like, when they're so young and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the day of. I mean, the surgery happened hours within her being born.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
so cute.
so, um
With that though, like, I think I'm trying to think how to say this. Not in the bad way.
yeah, no, no.
Um, with Down syndrome, like, you told your daughter how did the family adapt? I know how
Yeah.
you spoke about you and your husband, which I can reside a little bit with it because, I mean, my daughter doesn't have Downs, but she has a lot of learning disabilities.
Mhm.
So we have to deal with a lot, like, just dressing, like, we still she's 4, and we still struggle a lot with, like, potty training,
Mhm.
and just she can't articulate her words, so she does a lot of yelling and stuff, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But my one-year-old doesn't like she doesn't get she just likes to tease her sister and hear her yell. But my six-year-old, I can notice will, like he already takes kinda ownership over it, not in a bad
Yeah.
way, but, like, he'll,
Maybe
like, be like
protection?
yeah, when people like, other people will be like, "What's" like, "What's
Yeah.
like, "Why is she yelling? What's that?" And like, "Oh, she just has trouble with her words. She's trying to articulate them
Yeah.
and stuff."
It's his normal,
Yeah,
right?
and so but I love that he took that on.
Mhm.
Did you see I guess by that
She
time you
was
only have 1.
our oldest was 2.5 when Jess was born, so it's she just didn't know anything different, and, um, I don't think when she was little, it was just normal,
Yeah,
very, very normal to her. So I think so let's see, Jess was born at the end of January, and at the time, we would send out a Christmas letter. We don't do that anymore.
yeah, I know, right?
But I remember telling we just got it out. We
Mhm.
just got it
Yeah.
out in that Christmas letter because I didn't want to have to retell the story over and over. And, it's like you grieve and you get to this point and it's people mean well, but sometimes people say silly
Oh my
things that,
gosh,
they just don't
yes.
understand. It's just when you're in that world and you're not in that world looking in, you don't always know what to say. So, I would say that season of I can't remember exactly the how long we lived with that news.
Mhm.
But it was a dark season, I would say. We were not believers at the time. I
Alright.
didn't become a Christian till later. But I remember feeling some peace in just kind of getting the word out.
Mhm.
And then we had some people that came alongside and supported. We had some people that came alongside and said stupid things.
Right,
So, but everyone was their intentions were good.
right.
Yeah, so
I am so curious now. You triggered my curiosity. So during this time when you first had Jessica, you were not believers. So I'm be honest, some people say some dumb stuff to me about my daughter, especially, like, it took her until she was 2 to walk. And
mhm.
I remember one instant when we were in the Children's Museum, she was, like, I would say 21 months, and some mom looked at me, I was like, "What's wrong with her?"
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like, if I was not a Christian, I was like, I would be like but I was just like, "They don't understand, Lord." Like, I was like
yeah,
in my mind, because I was like, like, there's nothing wrong with her. Like, she just doesn't walk. She had low muscle tone, like, she just doesn't walk. Like, she will walk one day, she's just not, like and thank
mhm.
Lord she's a little petite thing, so, like, she always kinda looked young. But, like, my how did you I guess I'll have to ask you about your faith story now,
Yeah,
because I just assumed that you knew the Lord during that, and that is
no.
something that, like, girl,
I
that's
think I was probably I don't know, Jess is 24, so I look back, I remember at first being concerned about how would Emily, my oldest,
mhm.
would people look at us differently?
Yeah.
And still today, I will notice sometimes children looking at Jess because she looks different.
Yeah.
And it used to I felt a sense of protection to my older daughter, like, I didn't want this to affect her in a negative way.
Mhm.
But I feel like I remember Jess didn't walk till she was over 3, and I remember they had a little walker for us,
Uh-huh.
and we went to Castleton. We went to Castleton Mall because of the big open area,
Right, yeah.
and I was nervous at first, but I remember we had this amazing developmental therapist, and she came with us the first few times, and people would just cheer at us. I mean, like, Jess would just
No.
start going with this walker, and, I just remember, like, getting over that, like, people just cheered her on because it
Yeah.
was, it's like the joy on her face, like, she was happy that she was moving,
Right.
and it was like, life's too short, like,
Right.
I don't know. It seemed to not be a problem anymore. Like, I mean, I remember catching someone's eye looking at us, and now I don't even think I mean, I really
Right, you've
don't
been in
even
the
think
game for a
about
while
it.
now.
Sometimes I'll catch myself like, "Oh, I'm sure people notice, like, oh, look at that family. They have someone with Down syndrome," because you don't see that all the time,
Mhm.
but I rarely am aware of that when we're out in public.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it's just who we are.
Right, I guess so. Yeah, no,
Mhm, mhm.
it's very interesting because I had the same my daughter had a walker, and I would just haul that sucker all over the place and stuff.
Mhm.
Because I mean, she had an older brother who was very active, still to stay very active, and, yeah, she would just take the parks and everything, and she would just
Yeah,
they
it's
get
kind of
going.
fun. You appreciate their accomplishments. I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
so fun to see your child develop. But
Right.
when you have someone who is delayed
Yeah.
and they accomplish that,
Oh.
it's more monumental,
Oh, it
you
is.
know.
Oh my gosh, I know it could just bring I mean, just thinking about when she did walk and which was totally random because she walked at, like, the Glendale Mall I mean, not Glendale Mall, library at, like, story time, and thank the Lord that I had another friend with me, and I started sobbing. She just got up and just started walking, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my
Yeah,
god,
you
because
know
you
how
do
hard she
work.
worked to get to that
Yeah,
point.
and you think of all the physical therapy she did and all that,
Mhm.
and you're just like,
Oh my gosh, I still remember Jess at our refrigerator, and the PT had her, propped up against the fridge, and she was crying, and
right?
I'm
Oh.
like, "I would never wanna be a PT for children."
Right, I don't know how I know.
Uh-uh,
I don't know how
mm-mm.
they do it. Plus, it's such, like especially PT for, like, small kids, it's such, like, a small, like, like, you're 'cause I remember they would come and I'm like, "They're not even really accomplishing." I mean, but
Yeah.
they were, but, like, to us, we're just like, we just want them because you had like, a regular child, the first one, and same thing, my son was normal, like, he was I guess now I learned that he was, like, advanced and stuff. So, like, from that and then now being like, "Come on, like, you can do it." Like,
You
I
can
know
do
kids are
it.
capable of
You
doing
can do
this
it.
when they do it.
I had a daughter 4 years after Jessica was born,
Uh-huh.
and her development was, I'm sure, very typical, but coming after Jess, I was like, "She's gotta be advanced. Look at this. This is
Right?
look at her. Look at this speech. Like,
I know.
she has to be
That's how
extra, extra."
right, that's how I went with my one-year-old now, because Zara
Yeah.
just started she's 4, and she just started talking. I would say now it's been, like, 9 months, like, where I can actually, like she could tell me what she wants and stuff,
Mhm.
and then now Daisy, my one-year-old, is starting to, like, talk, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, dude, she is look at her telling
Look at
me,"
her.
like, she'll
Look
be
at
like
my parenting skills.
I know, right? I mean, it's just
Oh,
I mean, like, it's not like compare it's just because, like, we were so used to, both our middle childs, both our middle
yeah,
childs,
yeah.
and then you get another one, you're just like, "Oh, what is it?" Like, "Oh my gosh."
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's
Mhm.
can you tell me about your coming to faith story?
Yeah, so let's see, how old were the kids? My youngest daughter was going into kindergarten.
Okay.
So I wasn't prepared for this, Lacey. All right,
I know.
let me get my arms around it.
I
Um,
apologize. I wasn't I mean, like, I don't know, I
no,
wasn't
it's
prepared for
okay.
it, and
It's
then you hit
okay.
me with it because I've
My
had to
husband loves to tell a story, like,
does he?
from the get-go, and I'm like, give me a m the irony of this is
The
every
Lord wants
time
you to be
we're around
bold.
someone, and this was probably, years ago, time we were around someone, he would wanna share our testimony, and I'd always joke, like, "Do you want a mic?
Right?
Look what's
And
in my
now look at
face right now.
you have
Oh, what comes
right?
around goes
You gotta be
around."
careful what you say. The Lord is
Yeah,
he'll
he's
get
gonna
you.
think this is hilarious. So, I was a stay-at-home when let's see, when Emily was born, I kept working some, and then, I remember a friend saying, "Oh, just consider staying home," and I was like, "I'm
Right.
not staying home." And then, and when she was about a year, I quit. We were working together in real estate, and so, now I'm a stay-at-home mom, and Jess was born. And we were kinda getting to the point of me wanting to do something work-wise, but Jess had a lot of medical appointments in the
Mhm.
beginning, and I kinda took on, that was kinda my job. And my husband made a career change to, the intentions were so good. He made a career change to be involved with a company that was more related to the disability world, and he
Okay.
thought he thought, he went there with good intentions with a huge pay cut. And so, then I wasn't working, so I'm sure finances kinda played into the stress that we were feeling.
Right.
Plus, there was some insurance issues when Jess was born, and I remember having an attorney, and I remember the attorney saying, "Well, you might just have to file bankruptcy." But in the end, the insurance company did what they should have done, and but we had this joke we might be living in a van down by the river. That was like our standing joke. But so now Jess would have been maybe. My oldest was going into 5th grade, so Jess was 2nd grade or something.
Okay.
And, my husband and I grew apart. So I remember, well, I wasn't gonna talk about this.
I'm so sorry,
They're like,
like
"Can we cut this out?" No, I just remember we grew distant.
I mean, which that's
Don't you
happens.
have Kleenexes in this place?
Don't you please
And,
not close.
okay, so we grew apart and we separated.
Mhm.
And, it was hard. Um
Do you need to I mean, we could pause for a
No,
second.
I'm just
Okay.
gathering my words.
Yeah.
So we grew apart, and I remember like friends saying, get an attorney. I
Mhm.
didn't really have Christian friends around me. I remember a Christian friend who went to Christ the King.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I had this season where I'm like, I want to be Catholic. They
Right.
like have so much fun and they have all these parties. And
You're like, "I could
we
get
would
into
try
this one."
church. We would
Uh-huh.
try church for our kids.
Mhm.
Um, but it was like, this is so boring. And I remember my neighbor, like, we went to their church and they're like, okay, so we have church at 9 and then a Bible study at 11. I'm like, we ain't staying for 4
Right. You're like, "I'm
hours.
not
Like,
going to
are you
school
kidding me?
today." Like
So it just we would try things for the kids, but it
Mhm.
just never worked. So fast forward and we get to this point of, the stress of all the medical appointments, finances. So we separated. And in that quiet season, I remember going to a church and becoming a Christian. Like I remember crying on my bathroom floor
Uh-huh.
and God picking me up. I am an ugly crier.
I
I'm
am
not really
not
happy about that camera.
Don't We have good
um,
lighting. We have good
but I remember like that moment.
Mhm.
And then I started coming to another church and they were the first Sunday my friend invited me. So
Mhm.
it's so important to invite friends to church.
Right.
So she invited me to church and it was a 5-week series on marriage. And I'm like,
You were
I don't need this, but I'll come with you. And that Sunday they had miracle prayer.
Uh-huh.
And I remember and she's like, and we always sit in the front.
Right?
Like, so I'm sitting in the front of this church and miracle prayer and someone and I wish I knew who it was. Some older man came up and handed me a Kleenex and
You have to have Kleenexes during
and
that time, yeah.
yeah, and anyways, so I remember praying and that was like the beginning of this journey. And when I put Christ first, slowly for consistency,
Yes.
I wanted my husband to bring we never filed papers. We were separated 14 months.
Okay.
So I wanted him to bring the kids like we lived like a divorced couple. Like
Mhm.
he had the kids on Wednesday, every other weekend. We just did it, but we never filed for divorce. Throughout that season, it's so funny, like, we were strapped for cash, and then somehow, like, I don't know, like, I started cleaning houses, like,
Mhm.
somehow weird checks would come that we weren't, like, we overpaid the whatever energy bill, and so but anyways, so we were able to handle the finances, and I just remember, like, it was a season of, um, just growing close with the Lord, and when you
Mhm.
think about seasons that were rich, like, I look back on that time
Uh-huh.
with such fond memories, like, sometimes I'm a little like, "Oh god," like, I don't wanna go through that again, but can
Right.
we have that sweet season together again?
Right.
Like, so I don't know, it's like so I started growing in my faith, and then he started seeing that light.
Mhm.
His life was not going well, so
Yeah.
he was attracted to what I had found,
Yeah.
and so slowly he started coming around. I remember, a sweet man who ended up being my boss at the church, really ministering to Carrie
Mhm.
and got him to go on this retreat. And I thought he's not going to go on the retreat because he's just starting work, and the retreat was a 4-day. He'd have to miss 2 days work. And somehow God got him there and he found Christ. And I remember my sweet boss's wife, who was very by the books, she said, "Oh, they're already supposed to be Christians when they go on that
No,
that
she
that retreat." And it's
God
like, well,
bless
God
those
had another
people.
plan for him.
Right?
So he came back from that just so energized. And then we just continued to um seek what a Christian marriage looks like.
Uh-huh.
And after 14 months, that was back in 2009. So
Okay.
it's been quite a season. And I think this is the first time I'm telling that story with a mic in my face. So
Alright.
thank you
Well
for that unexpected opportunity.
Right, well, it just amazed me. I mean, like, one, I appreciate your testimony right there because it will speak to a whole bunch of people. Plus, it's marriage, I mean, it's very hard, and especially I've heard, like, it's like a 50% if your
I
child
think
gets
it's even
diagnosed in
higher,
yeah, it might be
real high
any kinda
percentage.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, medical difficulty kinda thing like that, like, a lot of marriages do,
Yeah.
and you
Well, and it takes two, and I feel like when I look back, like,
Mhm.
I blamed him for being the one to leave. Like, I
Yeah.
blamed him. You were the reason this marriage is falling apart. But throughout that time separated, I saw where my flaws were too. Like, I mean, I helped push him away. So I think like that's important for both people to see.
Mhm.
Like a marriage doesn't fall apart because of one
Oh, yeah.
person. And it takes two people to get that marriage back.
Right.
So God showed me that. But the real shift was when I put God on the pedestal, and
Mhm.
and that was when the momentum picked up of us coming back together because God needs to be the center,
Right.
you
Amen
know.
to that.
Mhm.
That's a
Mhm.
word. But
Yeah.
yes,
So,
but it is. I mean, that's a very true thing.
yeah.
Amen to that. It you do. I just love the story of it too because I mean, you hit me with it when you were like, "Yeah, I wasn't a Christian," when we were talking about your dad, you're like, "I wasn't a Christian." I was like,
Oh,
"Hold
why
up.
not? Yeah.
Hold no,
What happened
hold it."
there?
And no, it's not even like something wrong. It's just like I rely so much on the Lord for my mom my not my mom, my daughter, like, just, like, every day, like, kinda just, like, it's a lot, like, raising I don't even my child's not even have, like, Down syndrome, but she does do stuff and people don't understand.
Yeah.
I have 2 other children. Morning time before I have my coffee and stuff, it's just like and it's just like getting out of that bed every day knowing, like, we're gonna have to deal with some kinda episode,
Yeah.
people looking at us and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I have the Lord that has and, like, I will legit I don't know how people do it without the Lord. Like,
Mhm.
parenting, marriage, anything. Like I always say with, like, marriage, it's like every day you have to choose to die to self, which you
Yeah.
kinda talked about. Like, you gotta be like, it's both like, both of you guys are in this, and it's like, when any kind of
Exactly.
difficulty, it's not just, like, one person's fault. And also, your daughter I mean, like, it's so easy to then put our children in like, instead like, when something's going on with, like
Right.
and so,
Right.
like and that so, like, no one would blame you for, like, what you're, like, even separating because, I mean, like, your child probably was, like, medical, like, just, another
Mhm.
child there's so many things, and even though, like, I'm sorry you guys had to, like, separate, you then, like, later on saw the goodness of God
Right.
through that,
Right. I mean, that was the beauty of the hardship, right?
right? Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And now you look at and I now know why, like, your husband likes to tell a story because that's a good testimony. It
Yeah.
is. It is, it's a
It's
good because
funny.
it's something
It
that
is. It is. I mean, and it's like we came to Christ later, but in such an impactful way. And
right?
then we can think of like my oldest was 10 years old. So shoot, we missed 10 years of raising her in a Christ-centered family. But the five of I mean, it was impactful for all
Yeah,
five of us. So it's like that's a beautiful testimony too.
right? And
Mhm.
another good I mean, like, another testimony and something that's very, like, inspirational is that, like, your husband saw you change, and it gives, like, encouragement for women who are in, like, a marriage where, like, either of you guys, like, you were married before you I mean, when you got married, you weren't saved, and then now, like, there is still hope because there's a lot of women I know for sure that have, like they're Christian, but their husband isn't and stuff, but
Mhm.
it's, like, to give them that, like, "Keep going, they will see it," kinda thing.
Well, and just like keeping God like humans, friends, husbands,
Right?
spouses, they're always going to disappoint us.
Uh-huh.
And so you can't have your focus on your spouse making you happy. It's like you're I mean, it's Christ. So you can't be disappointed because all humans are going to disappoint each
Right,
other.
it is.
It's like the the focus needs to be on the Lord.
Yes, it does. It's you
Mhm.
gotta choose God every day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Helps us forgive all those dirty socks on the floor.
Right, I know. Amen to that, or the
Oh,
dishes
Lord.
in the sink. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Boo, I know you know where the it's right next to it. Just give me a few. We got 3 kids, like, just put it in
Yeah.
there."
Yeah.
But then, like but, I mean, we're all human beings and stuff, and we love them for a lot other stuff than their dirty socks and their
That's true. Because
right?
I'm sure I don't have anything that annoys
Right.
him.
I know, I'll sometimes be like, "Is there anything that, like, annoys you about" and he's so nice, he's like, "No," I'm like, "There has to be because there's a few things that annoy me." Like, and we're all
Yeah,
human beings, and he's always like, "No, I
exactly.
mean, a few, but, like, I get over it," and then I'm like, "Ah, you're so much better than me." I mean, we're all just working together. I mean, we're all broken people trying to follow Jesus and
Yep.
discern his voice.
Yep,
That's always
it's
what I
true.
say, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So let's talk about, thank you for sharing that,
Yeah, you're
number 1.
welcome.
Um, let's talk about the school you have.
Yep.
So you started it in
Mhm.
what year was that?
We opened our doors in January of 2019.
19, alright.
Mhm.
Um, how'd this come about? It's
Yep.
because of Jessica, right?
Yes. So, I always had a family with they have 3 girls, middle daughter has Down syndrome, and I would always look to her for some advice, like,
Mhm.
"Oh, we're nearing junior high," and, all the stages of what was going to happen. And I shared this story with permission from the family, but when their daughter, she's, 5-ish years older than Jess, when she got out of high school, I watched, and saw the negative transformation in her life. Her big sister was gone. A couple of years later, her younger sister went off to college, and then there she was. And she went through a season of depression where she hallucinated friends. It
Really?
was just, and so I watched that and thought, Uh-oh.
Right?
So that's when I first started really thinking about what does life look like for Jess after high school? Someone in the state of Indiana who is receiving services through the school can go till they're 22. So it always felt like so long, like it's so far off. We don't have to worry about it because it's so far off. But that started just this little hint of, okay, that time is going to come. And then when my oldest graduated high school, and we had her graduation party at our house, and we had her graduation box where people put the cards and the money and all the food and all the decor that we had up and just all the fun. Jessica started talking about her graduation party.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, we're going to have a graduation party. So they get so caught up. She got so caught up, and people like her, I've seen it, get caught up in that celebration, that party, what's next. Like all their friends are excited about high school graduation.
yeah.
Um, but what happens on the other side of that? So I started visiting places and just kind of seeing, even though we still had a long ways to go, just like what would it look like or where would she go? And I just um wasn't able to visualize Jess. I mean, there's so many good places around. So
Yeah.
I mean, there are good places around, but she was watching her sister go to college,
Mhm.
and there wasn't an academic-based place. So, it was just so many things going on at the same time. My oldest daughter went to college in Birmingham, Alabama, and so I was sad that she was leaving and going
Right.
so far away, and she discovered 2 incredible nonprofits down there that were doing things a little different. So, through the course of her college career and beyond, I started visiting and meeting with those people. And then a good friend of mine, Sarah McGregor, who's our co founder at Same as You, she comes from an education background and she has a daughter with Down syndrome. And it's this small community. Like when I hear of someone with Down syndrome, well, who are they?
Right.
Like you think you know everyone in
Right.
town who has
And then you're
Down
like,
syndrome.
"Who's this new one?"
So, it's funny, in blind faith, I just started getting excited about just what could be, and I felt God prompting me like, "Well, what wonder if we created something." And I never worried about the fact that I'm not from an education background. And I just kept looking, and then, Sarah and I reconnected at a, Christmas gathering for, moms with children with Down syndrome. So planted that seed in her of, like, would this be something that would be of
Uh-huh.
interest? Because she was staying at home at the time too. Or, I mean, I was working, but she was staying at home at the time. So I just kept, exploring, and, then I had the chance to I read a magazine article about Tina McIntosh at Joy's house,
Yeah.
and I reached out to her and said, "Would you meet with me to, just share your story on how Joy's house came about?" So I remember coming down to Broad Ripple and meeting with Tina, and, I didn't even know they had a job opening, and she said, "Well, why don't you come work here?" It was on the development team, and I didn't know that I had so much to learn about running a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I said at the time, because I was working at a church, and part of my guest services job was making sure that it got decorated for Christmas, overseeing that. I'm not a decorator. I know how to buy treats for the volunteers really well. And I said, I can't. This was like November. I'm like, if I left before Christmas, I'd never be welcomed in that building again."
That's how you felt.
So she waited for me, and I came, and I came in February, and I worked 14 months at Joy's house, and it was just an incredible experience. Then another thing came along. A church in Noblesville, where Same as You is located. The executive pastor at the time,
Mhm.
his son has Down syndrome, Cade, and Jess and Cade had gone to proms and different things throughout the years. And I reached out to Phil because I knew that they had hosted nonprofits before in that building. And I mean, it just came about. White River Christian Church gave us space where we ended up being for 3 years.
Mhm.
And it was incredible. And then, because we who knew COVID was coming,
Right.
but we opened our doors 9 weeks before the shutdown with 8 students. Yeah, so it's like I had that 14 months at Joy's house, and then I quit. And I'm so thankful for my husband, because then I really focused on probably about 6 months of really getting Same as You ready
Mhm.
to be in that point of opening our doors. So, yeah,
Right.
so that's our story, and we had a different name. We changed it to Same as You. I can tell you about that, but it's just been quite a ride. We've been open 5.5 years.
Right. It sounds, I mean, I love the idea of it because when I was looking on the website and when Hannah was telling me about it, it's like it is like a kind of actual school.
Yeah,
You
we're
guys do
we're
have
a
like
human
programs.
services nonprofit, but we are an academic setting, college-like setting. So we have a really fun lounge that the students come and hang out in. And now we're in a building, and it's just the colors are really fun and bright. And we want it to be a joyful place. We don't want it to be so often. I felt like places for people with disabilities, it felt not all. I mean, there are
Hmm.
incredible places out there, but some of the places have felt dark and leftovers, and
Right.
I we just that's not what we want for our people. We want them to have a fun, bright, neat, well-equipped space to come, just like their peers that went off to big
Yeah.
universities. So,
Right. That's, I love that. I love the also that you, I feel like it's very interesting, especially in like the Christian community that we have. I mean, like, we're all image bearers,
mhm.
but I mean, like, I'm not saying anything against churches, 'cause some churches do this fantastically, include, disabilities and others don't. But I love that it says on Same as You that is also a faith-based, like,
Mhm.
and I think it includes like, it's like I call it like the theology of disability. Like, we just sometimes people don't know what to do with people that like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like be politically like,
Right, which is hard these days,
I
right?
know, I
Be careful.
right.
Yeah, I think churches too, like a lot of it's just like the high school. There is programming for 18 and under.
Mhm.
Churches unfortunately, a lot of churches kind of follow that philosophy too,
Right,
programming for 18 and under, but it's the 18 and over. It's
right.
like what happens to them. And there are places out there that are doing amazing things. It's just sometimes I feel like you have to look a little harder for it. So, um I mean, that's where we were at. We wanted meaningful programming for that 18 and older person. And being Christ-centered, I look at our journey of Same as You and how I mean, we're serving over 100 students now, and
Oh,
that is
wow.
just the blessing of God and putting our faith in him. We were not looking for a building that soon, and it came about, and we did this campaign, and we got the building, and it's just I mean, we were at capacity at White River, and I just don't feel like we would be at the point we're at without God's blessing.
Amen to that. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, when the Lord puts something in your mind, if it's meant to be, He will equip you for
And
it.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
and roadblocks can come along too if it's
Right,
not
yes.
or his timing. So, yeah.
That's beautiful, yeah. With, as I was saying about churches and with theology of, like, the disability, how do you, I'm trying to think how to say this. I was
Mhm.
not. I have all these questions in my mind. It's just I love the idea, and it wasn't like with the school and how you guys equipped. I was looking at like the schools, the not schools, the courses you offer,
Mhm.
and there's like you also equip them for like real life stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a question because I've not been around a lot like people with disability.
Yeah.
People once they are 18, like they're able to maybe not like fully hold jobs, but they are able to be in the workforce. Or what is that?
Yeah, I think that it's very individual based. So,
Right.
fortunately, we have services available. Jessica is working at a restaurant near our home, and we utilized Voc Rehab. So I was so impressed with the Voc Rehab people, the job coach that
Mhm.
came in, and where she's working, they had never had a person with a disability before. And so it was just so great because that job coach is she was able just to help Jessica, but
Yeah.
also help the staff around her to understand how Jess works, and they have fully embraced her, and, it's Grindstone Public House in Noblesville,
Oh,
and I
is
I just
it?
love
Okay.
them. I mean, they just include
Shout
her,
out.
but they don't, I mean, she's funny. She got a boss, Alyssa, who was her peer, and then Alyssa got promoted. So
Oh,
it went from like maybe more of a, they could joke around, and now Alyssa is a manager. And thank the Lord for Alyssa. I think Jessica had to learn, like, now you're my boss.
yeah.
So there was some pushback from Jessica. And I'm
Right.
like, oh my gosh. But Alyssa was amazing. She is amazing. And but I want Jess to be held to a standard of you can't like there's certain expectations
Right.
for you to be there. Now, I will say, so yes, they can work in the workforce. For Jessica, because everybody
Yeah.
is different and people, same as you, vary quite a bit. I don't think she would be able to stay on task. All day long. So
Yeah.
her shifts are short. So like if she was there from 10 to 7, I mean, she'd be like, I need a break, and she'd be off doing something she shouldn't do. So for her, her shifts are short. So that's where I feel like with same as you, we want to be part of these people's lives.
Mhm.
But jobs are important too.
Right.
So most of our people come to us 2 days a week because they have other things going on with jobs. But I mean, I can say for our population, it's a very underemployed market
Yeah.
for people with disabilities. Some of that may be opportunity. There's not enough opportunity, but then some of it is the person. Like having a full-time job would be really difficult
Yeah.
for a lot of our people that we serve.
Uh-huh. Okay. I was wondering because I feel like it's gotten a lot better. I do see people with like is it intellect like what would you because I want to when you say disabilities, I don't mean like
Like an
what
intellectual
yeah, is
disability.
that what yeah, I
Mhm.
was like, is that
Mhm.
I do see now lately, I do love the, like, representation. It is a lot more in, like, the
Mhm.
world a little bit more and stuff, but I've always wondered, like, how long like, if there's a time limit because of the mental part of it and stuff.
Mhm.
So most people who have that kinda disability, they can't do, like, a eight-hour shift
I
or the I guess the students in your school.
Well, I mean, there's another young man that with us, and he works 3 days a week. He's with us 2 days, and he works 3 days somewhere, and his shifts are a lot longer than Jessica. So I feel like it's really individual based, and it's what is knowing, what is best for them,
Mhm.
whether it's a 2-hour shift or a 7-hour shift. I feel like just like you and I, people take pride in being able to work and
Right?
receive a paycheck, and that feels good. That feels good when you are contributing. So I think that we see a lot of variety just within the population that
Mhm.
we serve. But I mean, people want to work. Our people want to
Right.
work.
Well, I
Hmm.
think any person wants to I mean, my son's 6 and he wants to help me
I
vacuum, you
mean,
know what I
think
mean?
when you're a kid and you have a lemonade stand, it's like
When
that's
yeah.
so fun. So I mean, it's just it's this thing inside of us. Like we
Right,
were made
yeah.
to be productive, right?
Right.
So in them too, it's like you talk about all that first person first language. I mean, Jessica has Down syndrome, but there's so many other things about her, and her life is very different from some another 24-year-old,
Mhm.
but she wants and desire a lot of the same things. And we went through I remember when both of her sisters started driving, she would ask about driver's ed. And so every stage, like, she would ask about it too. So, it's like they have those same
Right.
desires as other people without disabilities.
Right. I mean, because they are I mean, like, there are people they are still people, like, they still have
Yeah,
like, they're
absolutely.
still like us, like, they might not be able to, work as long or does Jess drive or does she not drive?
She does not
She
drive,
does not
so
drive? Alright.
mhm,
So, like,
mhm.
I mean,
I
like
mean, I wish I had a driver, really, at this
right.
stage in
Oh
my
my gosh,
life. Who
right, me
wants to
too.
drive?
I hate driving. I
Um
always make my husband drive if we're driving places because 'cause I'm like
Yeah, yeah, same. But then he drives too fast, so
Right. Mine likes to stop all the time, and I'm just like, "I am so car sick," and I'm in the passenger seat.
when we trade driving, when we're on a vacation and we're driving to a long distance and we pull up the Waze,
Uh-huh.
our arrival time changes when I get in the driver's seat because
Yeah.
it's used to my speed versus
Oh my
his
god, that is
speed.
hilarious.
Yeah, so anyways. It is true, I do drive slower, but still over the speed limit,
You're
so
cautious, there you go.
mhm,
It'd
mhm.
be weird if we had 2 crazy drivers. You can't be in
Exactly.
a marriage with 2 crazy drivers. We need
No.
1 responsible, and we need 1 who wants to get there real quick. You
Right.
gotta balance each other out.
Right, right.
2 crazy ones, that's gonna be too expensive, too many tickets.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's what I'll go with.
Right, that's what I'm staying with too. But yeah, I think some people forget that, like, the population you serve, like, they're still people, they still want to, be included in that, and I think they're able to, like, I seen, like, our church, we just started incorporating some people with some disabilities, like, we have a Down syndrome lady that helps with, like, the coffee and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and I think that's, like, a new thing. Because I feel like before, like, when I grew up, I mean, we always had, like, the special needs class because I went to public school and stuff, but now I do love now they, like, incorporate them. Because when I was younger, because how old am I now? 35. When I was in school, I never really saw like, there was just special class and that's
Yeah.
all. Where now my son goes to a public school and he has all, like, they're all in, like, one. I
Right.
mean, they leave for a little bit because Vancouver tells me about his friend who's, nonverbal, uses the iPad, and I love also that they explain it and they're not just like, so and so,
Right.
like, they, like, explain it, and then Vancouver then is able to, like, understand, like, I just
He's just
feel
been exposed to it
yeah, he's been
more.
exposed to it,
Mhm.
and I think it's just a lot better, like, education now,
Mhm.
and not just, like, they're just the other it's like, no, they're
Mhm.
still people, they're still students, and they're gonna be hanging out with the normal because that's real life.
Yeah. Yeah. I when you say that, it makes me think of our so we are academic based, but we have a huge variety. It doesn't matter to us if someone is reading sight words or reading, high school level because we want to retain the skills that they've worked so hard on throughout school. I mean,
Mhm,
most of our population starts at the age of 3 and they go to 22. So when you think of school, it's like a very comfortable, happy place for them. But for us, even a more important part of our mission is that they feel that self-worth and that
mhm,
place to belong, especially at a time where all their friends are leaving and going off to college and it's like such a natural you exit the school system, you go to college, you join the military, you do a trade school, like you have a path. So
yeah,
for these families, mine included, it's not as clear of a path, but they
yeah,
still want to feel like they belong and that they can contribute and they have self-worth.
yeah,
So, and they have friends. So that's was the big thing. It's kind of like coming to the edge of a cliff and everybody's gone and you're like, wait, what do we do now?
yeah,
And so you want to have a neat place to go to and have friends
right,
and have fun and we want to have that place for them regardless of what their level of education is.
alright,
Mhm.
and I love that I was looking, like, you have regular like you said, educational, like, I saw you had, like, math, history, and all that, but then you also have, like, actual, like, life skills? Is that what you would call
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's real practical. How to leave a proper voicemail, not over texting. What do you do, with personal space? And so it's all kinds of those things that are going to help them function and hold a job and do all these different things in the world and how to really interact.
Mhm.
And that's sometimes you think of people without disabilities, like you can be
Right, that's right.
really academically advanced, and if you don't have that skill set to talk to people and,
Right.
it can really doesn't matter on the academic part, right?
No, it's so
So
true. I know we've all met someone who's very smart, but then you're like, can't have a conversation. They're just,
mhm,
you're glad
yeah,
they're good for their knowledge. You're like, thank you if you're a doctor and stuff, but your
right.
bedside manner
Bedside
is
manner.
absolute.
Yeah.
We've all met one of those. You're like, I'm glad you're so smart, but like, do you hate me? What's going
Right,
on? You know what I
exactly.
mean? But
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a
it
good point.
also gives, I mean, you give the kids, the adults, your students, like I said, life skills, you give them being able to actually, like, be citizens and, like, participate, but I think you also give so much peace to the family too.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you would want to, like, if my daughter was to have, like, to go to your school or something, have, like, it gives you also that, like, okay, they contribute, like, you give that independence, you see them shine.
Yeah, I think that our families, and it's funny, I've been asked this before, and Sarah, our education director, she's so amazing with the students. Like she's so there for them. And I know that feeds her the impact that she sees with the students. And that feeds me too. But I feel like when I have that mom come in for the first time and I see that sense of relief on her face,
Right.
it's just like that's so impactful for me because I know that whether they're working or whatever they're doing with their time while that person is with us, it feels good as a parent. It feels good to know that your person, your son or daughter, is doing something that they love, that's something meaningful, that they're just not sitting on a screen, that they are
Right.
with people. So it's such a sense of peace as a parent to know your person's safe and loved and enjoying that day and learning. We have people that just before I came here, we have people that I think live for our dance break, and we have people that can't wait to learn about, current events or whatever is being taught that day. But there's there's this one I love the interaction I get with the students, and I'm not in the classroom, but a young man came in, and his name's Ryan, and he's so fun, and you'll say, "How are you today, Ryan?" "I'm
All
amazing."
right.
Like, that's and it's just the fun that just those interactions
Right.
that we get to have are priceless. It's really great.
All right, I bet so. I mean, I love it because I'm guessing it's semi like I watch some reality TV and there's a big right now is the Love on the Spectrum
Uh
and those kids. But yeah, no, that like some of them you'd be like, "How you doing?" "Oh, I'm good. I'm good." Like it's just it's
Well, we say we live, in the land of filter-free living,
right.
same as
That's
you, and it really is true because you hear it.
you hear. Oh my god, I bet
The
so. That
good, the bad, and the ugly.
right. They're
So,
being truthful. At
oh,
least
yeah.
you know
There's
what you're
there's
getting.
freedom in that, right?
There
There's no
is.
hiding around it, so
Right, at least
it's
they're
good.
speaking truth. I mean, I mean, people in this world just very much filter themselves or try to, what they think, being nice by telling, lie, like something that's not true and stuff. They're gonna give it to you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
look silly, they're gonna tell you if there's something crazy. They're gonna ask all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my son. He went through a phase like when he saw anyone like wheelchairs, so he'd be like, "Why in a wheelchair? What's going on?" And thank the Lord blessed me, and I was able to be like, "Well, go ask them." And no one ever got, like, offended, and people always explained it to him.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
semi
good, that's a good answer.
right? I was semi-nervous because I was like the first time I was like, because when they do it right in front of the person, you're like, I don't know exactly what to say. So I was like,
Mhm.
"Just ask them."
That's so neat, though. It's funny you said that because I feel like sometimes the worst thing is to not to say because you don't know what to say.
Yeah,
So then you don't say it, and then that person feels unseen.
right.
So I think that it's so good to talk to them,
Yeah.
and that just makes them feel seen. Everyone wants to be seen.
Right?
Mhm.
It's true, but yeah, no, I was like, I don't know, because I honestly, like you said, like, I was like, I don't wanna make them not feel like they're seen, but I also don't wanna say the wrong thing,
Right.
like, because I'm not in this, like, community, so I don't know the actual wordage, like, I don't wanna offend
It's
person,
probably received well from a child, right?
right?
Because
And
they
so,
just know
yeah,
they're
and he's
curious.
adorable looking
They're
that he
not
was just like
asking for a wrong reason,
yeah,
right? He's
he was
just
just like
curious.
right? He's like, "Why you in" and then, like, she told him, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
Uh-huh,
And, like,
yeah,
walked
moving
away,
on.
right? But I was
Yeah,
semi-offended I mean, not offended, I was afraid that the person was gonna be offended because I was like, "I just don't know what to say." I was like, "Hopefully they don't." But, like, I feel like people I feel like maybe the Lord has just blessed me with people that, like, are very open to it because you've seen stuff go wrong and
yeah,
people get, like but, yeah, no, every single
that's
time someone
great.
has
Mhm.
a cane or I mean, my son is just so curious George about everything, so now I was just like, "Ask him," and now he doesn't even, like, ask me, he would be like,
Go
"Why do you do
ask.
this? Why is this?" Oh my god, it cracks me up,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, no, it's this I just love that you like you said, you give, independence, you give, like, personhood to your students, you give, like, y'all are they are made in the image of God. They show God, like, still and stuff. Yes, they are different from us, but they still need to be included in this community, in this world, because the Lord made them for this purpose.
Yeah,
The Lord did not make a mistake. Like, this is where, like, they're supposed to be. This is what and, like, I love that you brought that, like, you realize they're people, Lord did not make a mistake, and that you are finding their gifts,
mhm,
and you're trying to help them in this world. If they can work, you're gonna try to give them, skills, but if they can't, you're still gonna give them that
yeah.
community.
So, it's funny, I'm hearing there's such a team at same as you. So it's I am the founder. I did have this idea put on me because of Jessica, but we have such a team. So it's like when you say you, I'm like I'm not the one
I mean,
teaching the
the
classes.
team
So I know, but I just wanted to give a shout
Yeah,
out
shout them
because
out.
it's same as you has been one of the most rewarding and hardest things I've ever
Mhm.
done. So I feel like throughout this journey, throughout this process, God has brought the right people at the right time 'cause there's been so many times when I've been like, "What do I do now? What who do I" and it's like I have this, one of my founding board members connected me to this semi-retired attorney named Phil, and I call him my easy button Staples Phil guy. Then I'm like, Phil, what do I do with this? How should this text letter look like? And then there's Phil, and then there's like, but there's like all these people that
Uh-huh.
you get to this state where this is what God's equipped me to do. So there's no like, well, I'm going to quit and go get another job. Like
Right.
this is it, right?
Right.
So I feel like I still have such a long way to go and so many things to learn, but also knowing that our team is, if someone's better gifted in that area, run with that. Like God's just
Right.
so like this isn't mine. I mean, this isn't mine. And same as you, we are who we are because of who God has brought to our team.
Right.
So, we have people gifted in. I mean, I just watch all the people and what they do at same as you, and I'm like, that's incredible. I couldn't have come up with that idea. If I had to be in the classroom all day long, I'd be like, I gotta get out of here.
Right.
But then there's other people. We just did this thing called Working Genius,
Uh-huh.
and it's been so fun. So we did it with our leadership team, and um, everyone's gifted with two working geniuses, and mine came back as galvanizing and a tenacity. I'm the only one on the team that has galvanizing. They hate it. That's their frustration.
Uh-huh.
But then someone who likes to help a project move along is my frustration. So it's just really cool to see how God created us all different, that what is something that I'm gifted with might be someone else's frustration, and vice versa. Like
Right.
we're just going to accomplish more as a team than as an individual, right?
Right.
So it's been I just can't speak highly of. When I was leaving, one of our teachers was standing in the hallway because I said, well, record this so I can watch it when I get back. But she is just so creative, and she was getting ready to go in for morning meeting to do a fun activity. And but they just all have chances to lead and do something fun and use their gifts. And I want to step into that more for them. But I'm super proud of the team that we have, it same as you.
Right. It sounds almost like, like in the Bible and they talk about, like the church and the body of God, God and stuff. But that's how it is.
The
Like
body of God and, like, our gifts, like,
it is
God's
like they
equipped
all
us
work
each
together.
differently, and
Yeah.
isn't that less boring? Like, wouldn't it be
Right.
boring if we were all good at the same things, and
Right.
bad
Well,
who's gonna do the stuff we hate?
right.
So
Same as you wouldn't be what it is if everyone had the same gift.
right,
And
right, and it's
especially
richer
yeah.
because of it. So, yeah,
Right, that's so true. It is
mhm.
because it's I mean, like and it's crazy. I mean, like, I can only think, like, how with the podcast, this podcast wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the 2 other men behind it, the audio and
Yeah, he just
video.
needs to get Kleenexes,
Uh-huh,
but
right, next
other
time
than
we will.
that, all
We will next
accolades
time.
to him.
Right.
Mhm.
But that's the same thing. It's like the Lord, if he calls you to do something, like, he will provide, and he'll provide
Mhm.
people that, like, specifically are for like, have the gifts for that, and
Mhm,
it sounds like the
mhm.
same thing, same as you, like the teachers. I cannot imagine being a teacher, but then also a teacher that has, that works with people with disabilities, because that's a
Mm,
special gift, and it's not
yeah.
saying there's anything wrong with people with disabilities, not one single bit, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, like,
But
the
they
Lord
just
made
can
those people.
speak into their lives,
Yeah,
and I mean, I love that where my desk is, I get to watch them come in and the smiles, and we'll high five and hug, and I get to interact with them, but then there's other parts of same as you that, like, if, it's like if I may not wanna be in the classroom, and there's other people that are in the classroom, but if someone had to pick up the phone and talk to a sponsor or a
right, oh god.
donor, they like, "Oh, I wanna do that."
Right,
And that feeds me. I love talking to our
really.
donors and, just sharing some of the things that we're doing. So
It is.
that's where we're this working genius, just we're balancing out and shifting like job responsibilities so that there's things that I have to do running same as you that I can do. It's just
Mhm.
fine. But like making sure that we are all where we're supposed to be so that we can even be better. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun process to work through.
Alright, I mean, I bet so, but I like you said, but it also has its I mean, because it is hard to w run, like, with people who have disabilities, and it looks like from the, website, it's, like, all varieties of it and stuff,
Mhm.
and there is with that, it's hard like, some of them are have trouble, like, communicating and stuff like that, so I can only
Yeah,
imagine that part.
there's certain requirements to be at same as you. And so when we get a family that we are not equipped to serve, That's been really hard.
Oh, I bet.
And being a, parent in the community for the last 24 years, like, when it's, when there's a personal connection there. But we want to serve everyone. We know that we can't serve everyone, and there's a criteria to be there, and that's really hard when we're not a fit, when we're not equipped. But we also, know if we're not equipped to serve, it's not gonna be a good fit for that person either. Like, they're
Right,
not gonna be, thriving and happy there. So, those are like, just as we roll along with it, it's hard, but there's reasons why we have that in place. So,
right.
mhm.
I mean, that would be I mean, I didn't think of that. It would be hard to because you want anybody, like, it's like same thing like a church that has, classes. So you want everybody, but it's also, like you
Right.
said.
But what's nice too is, we're not field trip, we don't have transportation. We've brought field trip people into us.
Mhm.
But there's other places that go out in the community all the time. That's not who we are. So we have a lot of our students that are with us, and then they might be at a different place during the week as well. And I think that's a beautiful thing that works. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. I love the community you have and stuff.
yeah.
All right, we're almost out of time,
Okay.
but do you want to anything coming up for Same as You? Any fundraisers, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, so, I would ask for prayers for our sprinkler system. We have 4 that we've
Oh god.
replaced. We're in a 25-year-old building, so
Uh-huh.
we know that repairs, come up, so so it is all good, but, maintenance is something that we were always looking at, so, donations keep us running. Donations are an important piece of our budget. So we currently have that on our plate, but also we have a super fun golf outing September 19th. So on our website, you
Yeah.
can find that, but it will be our 5th golf outing, Pebblebrook, super fun. Our students are there cheering on our golfers. We've had golfers that have participated um, every year. So
Mhm.
it's just, and they say the difference is the fun and energy and the students. We have just a lot of ways that we've worked them into the golf course that they get to be there cheering on the golfers. So that's our fundraiser in September, and yeah, that would be a fun one for people to come check out. So
Alright.
there's volunteer opportunities at Same as You. So we'd love to for people to get involved. We've got a lot of weeds growing with this hot weather and
I bet so.
humidity. But we always have, different opportunities, not just, the grounds, but we
Alright.
have things that, we can have people come and interact with our students and have fun.
Do you have that on the website? Can people,
Yeah.
like, do they email you, or is there, like, a little button or
There's on the website, so sameasyou.org, there's a tab for volunteering, and then there's a form that they can fill out to start that process, and there's a tab on for golf outing as well. So,
Alright,
yeah, it's all
perfect.
there, so
Alright, it's all there. We're willing for your help. That's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, mhm.
I love that. Alright, thank you so much,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
I
Oh
appreciate
my
you being
goodness, thank
on.
you.
Alright, thank you, everyone. This is Image Bears. I'm Lacey Connor, and like I said to my children, go with God. Alright, thanks, guys. Bye.